This right here is the new Frame 5000D case from Corsair. It is basically the bigger brother of the Frame 4000D that I reviewed a few months ago, and even though they share a lot of similarities, there are a couple of differences between the two that I'm going to go over in this video. So let's check it out, let's see how it performs with the build that I put together here, and most importantly, let's see if it's worth getting it or not. Let's begin. Just like with the Frame 4000D, I think the design is one of the best aspects of this case. It is very much so airflow focused, and it has that interesting twisted pattern on the front panel with all other perforations on the case matching it perfectly. Now there's only so much you can do to make a typical airflow focused case stand out, but I think that they've done a very good job at finding a good balance for a modern and attractive look that doesn't try too hard to stand out too much just for the sake of being different and unique. At first glance, the Frame 5000D doesn't look that different from the 4000D, but it is actually 6 centimeters taller and longer, and it is slightly wider as well. The front panel is also a little bit more high-end, so you get 4 USB-A ports and a single USB-C port, plus, there is a little RGB bar above it to add a bit of detail. Just like I mentioned in my 4000D review, these frame cases are modular, and you can technically configure your case based on your needs to a certain extent. It has removable panels, adjustable drive bays, InfiniRail system for your fans, and later on, when more accessories become available and hit the market, you will also be able to change other things as well, like get a front panel with 3 Type-C connections, for example, add more fans to the case, or even add a Xenon Edge display to the side panel like we've seen at CES earlier this year. But those options are not available just yet. And speaking of panels, the biggest issue I had with the Frame 4000D was its build quality. So the panels were way too thin with a huge amount of flex in them, and it just made the whole case feel very cheap, which is not something you would expect to see from Corsair. But the panels on this Frame 5000D are quite a bit better, so the build quality should not be an issue anymore. Plus, after so much feedback from various sides, Corsair went to upgrade the 4000D panels as well, which is great news, but I'm going to talk about that in a different video, not today. Unfortunately, the delivery service here was not so gentle with the box, and it came in with a big gaping hole on the side and a big dent in the side panel underneath. Now, Corsair was kind enough to send me a new panel, it just didn't arrive in time for this video, so let's just ignore the dent and let's pretend it is not there. Anyway, the Frame 5000D is also supposed to be very build-friendly and tool-less, using thumb screws everywhere. Plus, none of them were over-tightened out of the factory, so I really didn't need to use a screwdriver for almost anything on this case. The panels come off easily, the PSU bracket as well, and if you want to change the rear panel orientation from a horizontal to a vertical GPU mount, you can easily rotate that as well. Just remember to order a riser cable because you don't get one with the case alone. Most panels do have dust filters, including the front, bottom, and side, and I do like that the bottom dust filter is removable from the side, so you can actually reach it without having to move your whole PC. But the top panel does not come with a dust filter. Now, that would make sense if you have a large all-in-one cooler that covers the whole area, but if you have a smaller water cooler or an air cooler, for example, the dust can easily come in. So I really think that Corsair should include at least a very simple magnetic dust filter that some people might need depending on their build, and it wouldn't affect the cost of the case that much. On the inside, there is a lot of space for most builds that you might have in mind. The cover next to the motherboard can be removed or replaced with an included bracket that offers space for 240mm fans or 320mm fans. And if you want to, you can even remove the entire motherboard tray for easier installation. Though, I really think that is not necessary because installing your motherboard in your case is as easy as it gets. After you are done and you plug everything in, there is also an extra cover at the top that is meant to hide the cables a little bit more. I do have to say I really like the new InfiniRail system that lets you move the rails on fan brackets to easily use different fan or radiator sizes, without having a bunch of screws or extra metal that can interfere with airflow or with looks. And speaking of fans, you can fit a total of 12 140mm fans. And if you go for 120mm fans, you can fit 14 fans in total, which is quite a lot. Corsair is going to sell this case in two variants, with 4 non-RGB RS140 fans or with 4 addressable RGB RS140 fans, and then in both black and white. To my surprise, there is no sign of a link version or a fanless version just yet, but I'm really happy they went with 4 fans because in the past, Corsair very often added only 3 fans on the front without a matching fan in the back, even on their high-end cases. And to me, that always felt like a very cheap cost-cutting measure. So 4 fans on this case is definitely the right decision. When it comes to water cooling, you can fit a 420mm radiator in the top, or 360 or 280 on the front or on the extra side bracket. CPU coolers up to 175mm in height will fit, which is the majority of air coolers on the market, and GPUs up to 450mm in length. So compatibility is not going to be an issue. But let's check out the build. I decided to go with the Intel Core Ultra 9 285K this time around, combined with the Asus ROG Strix Z890F gaming motherboard. To cool the CPU, I used the Corsair Link Titan 420 RX cooler because that should fit nicely in the top, and it should also be able to keep the 285K cool and quiet under load. For the GPU, I went with the RTX 5080 ROG Astral from Asus. For storage, I put in a 2TB Gen 5 SSD, and for the memory, I used these 48GB DDR5 8400 CU DIMM modules because Intel CPUs can benefit from these quite a bit. And last but not the least, I got a RM1000X shift power supply to power it all up. And the result is quite nice in my opinion. You can see that there is plenty of space even with one of the biggest GPUs on the market, and there is plenty of space if you decide to go for a custom loop instead. Since you do get such a big open space with plenty of options to remove various brackets and lots of space for cable management, it was one of the easiest cases to work with. Plus, some of these small details like having all the fans daisy-chained and connected to a splitter already, so you only need to connect a single fan and a single addressable RGB header to your motherboard, made it even easier, in my opinion. I do have a couple of notes. So if you also go for a 420mm radiator in the top, you will have to orient it like this, because if you put the tubes the other way around, they will definitely interfere with the fan in the back. I also think that the top cover is nice, but it is a bit tight for the CPU power cables, so I do think they can look into adding a little cutout on the top cover as well. When it comes to thermal performance, as you would expect to see from an airflow focus case with 4 fans included, the Frame 5000D performed really well. With the noise normalized to 40 decibels at a 50cm distance, while running Cyberpunk 2077 that nicely stresses both the GPU and the CPU, the thermals looked great. The RTX 5080 was pulling just over 350 watts on average, with the temperature in the low 60s and the memory in the mid 60s. Meanwhile, the CPU was running at only 54 degrees Celsius. For the case temperature, I think that 40 degrees Celsius is a nice target maximum for a case that performs well, but here we were barely over 30. When only stressing the CPU, there was no issues either, with the water cooler just moving most of the heat right out of the case. 80-ish degrees on the CPU with a 230 watt load on average is very decent in my opinion. And most of the other thermals looked more like you would expect to see from a system running a very light load or being in idle. So it performs very well, and there is enough of headroom to upgrade to an RTX 5090, for example, or to run the system even quieter if you prefer. If I look at the prices here in Europe, the Frame 5000D has an MSRP of 155 euros for the version with 4 non-RGB fans, or 180 euros with 4 addressable RGB fans. But they're already available in stores for much less, 122 and 144 euros respectively. And I really don't think that is a bad price when you consider that this is a big case with a modern design, a complete feature set, and it performs great. In the US, the situation is a bit different because the supply seems a bit more limited. So you can get the non-RGB version for $190 or the RGB version for $200. And I'm not really sure why the difference between the non-RGB and the RGB version is much smaller than in Europe, but I do think that $200-ish is a bit on the high side, considering that you can get many very good cases for $150 or less. So for now, the situation in Europe feels a bit more reasonable. But overall, I do think that the Frame 5000D is a great case. It combines most of the very good ideas from the 4000D with a couple of upgrades, and most importantly, with a much better build quality. Now, one or two minor points of improvement that I mentioned earlier don't really affect most builds, so the only disappointment right now is that most of the promised and showcased accessories that could benefit this case even more are still not for sale. But either way, like I say for every case over 100 euros or dollars, you do need to have a decent reason why you want to get a case like this one. Either because of its looks, for the extra features it offers, extra space and ease of use options that will make your building experience better, or all of the above. And if you like the way this looks, you like the performance it offers, and you find it for a price that fits your budget, just go for it. It is a great case. Now that is all I had for today, but before I go, let's check out the sponsor of this video. This video is brought to you by Seasonic and their new Focus GX power supplies. These new mid-range power supplies are pretty affordable, but they still come with all the features you would expect to see on a proper high-end power supply. They are fully modular, they are very efficient and very quiet due to their fan design, plus they come with a hybrid fan mode that stops the fans completely under 30% load. You get a variety of connections for any kind of system you have in mind, and as usual, Seasonic backs it all up with a nice and cozy 10-year-long warranty. Check it out using the links in the description below. Thank you all for watching and staying to the end. I really hope this video was interesting enough. If you liked it and you want to see more videos like this one, please do consider clicking that subscribe button so you never miss my future uploads. Bye guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!